Hey mate, I'm just gonna do, uh, I guess like 120, hands or 100 hands from 3 sessions. One is like 2 or 3 days after, or 1 or 2 days after our last cash session. Yesterday I finished fifth in a tournament, but the I was a chip leader with 22 big blinds. It was a deep stack turbo, but still the at the end when I busted, the biggest stack was 15 big blinds, and I made sure that at least the guy with the one big blind, the four big blind, and the seven big blind busted before me, before I busted. Again, it's just a matter of people just calling out, calling too wide, which you will notice in these cache videos as well, and that will be the reason for some of the adjustments. Even though I watched a lot of videos and uh, just learned in general about cache, just you know how like in tournaments, even on the final table, people are just stacking off really wide. Like I had aces cracked by Jack nine suited after a flop of queen, some random, I think 4 or 5 9, and re-raise on the flop and get it in 20 big blinds final table. A guy had Jack nine. He had 45 big blinds, by the way. So you know that like people are stacking off wide. Um, I'm going to be playing a few tournaments now that I'm feeling well. But I thought, since you also said the we should go over my worst game, so I have it as these three are, in my opinion, like um, what you would what you might call it. Uh, why is there a five and a uh, hmm. Yeah, I don't want this. This is like why are we sitting on a five and a, okay, it is a 10 and so this is basically, the first session, second session, third session. Oh no, the first session afterwards, second session afterwards, and the final. Um, so let's just crack on with this one, I guess, first. I try to keep it to hands that are hmm. You can always skip over all of this. I'm just trying to see why. Yeah, so this is going the other way around for some reason. So this is the first hand that I posted. Yeah, 2475. Okay. Obviously fold. Fold. This guy just limps a lot. So I isolated him on the button. Usually whenever there's like two limpers or something, like I'll make it like 100, 125. A lot of my range consists of ace x, suited kings, good suited queens, like queen 10 suited plus, and Jack 10 suited plus. Just the normal kind of ISO range, but a little bit tighter. I know like this is a bit loose, but I know this player enough that I know that he's gonna fold a lot of times. Anyways, he ends up calling. I don't see bet. I would like to know like how often we should see bet, with what kind of equity, and when we whiff the flop after being the pre-flop aggressor, like whether we isolate, whether we 3-bet, what should our reaction be on flops like these. When he checks twice, I bet. Usually they don't have anything. So the way the fish play on our tournaments in these cash games is that they with very good made hands like flushes and stuff, they will either call you down, or if you check, they will bet small or check and then bomb the river. With bluffs, they will just bet big. And anyone who's a decent player, if he's betting big, usually they have, I give them credit. But versus fish, if I have, say, like, there's a hand, if I have like queen 5 and I flop a queen, I'm going broke up to like 60-70 big blinds with them. And you will see like the ranges here just are insanely crazy. Is all I can say. Sorry. So here, do we see bet as a pre-flop aggressor, or do we just check fold? Is something like from MTTs, I would probably bet small here, given the flop is a7 9 and button and big blind flatted. Like if there was a queen or a king or a jack, I might not. And then even an MTT even, and the sizing. Any case, I give up after that. See that. Decided to isolate here with broadways. Another thing I've seen is like broadways offsuit, suited, doesn't matter, are really good hands, because these guys have like literally any two. Like you'll see some of the showdown hands and I hope you're shocked. Anyways, fold. So a little bit of exploitative play, just a little bit. Oh, yep. Yep. Just one question. If the button opens, do we defend this hand? Just putting it out there. Here I decided to, again, I could have flatted, but what you told me about the small blind, I ended up squeezing. I can fold, I can call, I can squeeze. I guess all three are fine. And on this board, I will definitely see bet. When he jams though, sucks. Maybe I shouldn't be see betting, because it's all backdoor equity and these guys are gonna jam any made hand. So like, it's really strange. This guy is more likely to jam here with a queen, just a naked queen, than he is to with queen jack. and maybe sometimes flush draws. Some villains do, but say he had flopped a flush. Like the weaker the hand, the more aggro they get. Again, it's just eye test. This guy's not that good. This guy's not that good. This guy's not that good. Isolate them again. This guy's catching on to my ISO. C bet. Obviously, we have the 3, and we can rep the ace here. Okay, he calls. Think checking is fine here. Jack 10 9, but like his big blind range versus big blind range on these boards, what should we be doing, especially when we block a lot of his combos for straights, like king queen. We have a situation where a diamond would be really good on the turn. Anyways, there's 9, so I ended up just calling. Ace on the river kind of sucks, but so does the player. So I think, given what I've seen, I think I should be raising here. I ended up calling. Yeah, obviously he was on a draw. So here, is there any merit in raising? Like he can have any 2 here. And like stuff like Queen X, and I think it just seemed like a pretty big bet. This guy is like a decent, he used to be like X alpha grinder, shadow draws, staking stable. So I decided to just play him like a regular. Turns out he is not. Okay, fold. Right. Min raise 3 bet by this guy. It was pretty nitty. Thought folding is the best. Cut off opening range. I guess like in an MTD with antis I would open this, but sure, fold. Definitely opening this. Kinda sucky board. Not anymore. Don't know why I checked here. Or is it fine multi-way? Fuck. I mean, river is pretty easy. It's fold, right? Turn, I guess I missed. But again, if he has a heart, he's gonna call. If he has a king, he's gonna call. But that's good if he has a king, he's gonna call. But he could have like king of like king 8 with an 8 of hearts to just have random stuff. I think this is the bottom of my opening range and folding. So again here, again, if when we open here, like on these kind of boards, like versus fish, I'm just not c betting. I might check call on a board where I have more equity, but usually just giving up on a bet, because if he doesn't have anything, he's gonna check too. Like these are basically 2011 10 games, except that instead of nits we have spazzy players, which is the same case in the MTTs that we encounter. But and as you know that since we don't have volume, I think cash is the right way to get that volume. Going, and we have games up to like 1 NL, 100 NL that play. Again, I isolate him. He folds, this guy cold calls. Should bet here, shouldn't I? I decided for a delayed C bet, especially after picking up some equity. He calls, and I decided to go for it with the 1.5x bet, pot size bet. Everything missed, so he either has an ace, which I think he would raise on the flop. Sorry. Yeah, I don't think he's checking an ace on the flop. No way. And no way is he just calling here, especially if it's a weak ace. Ace king now is kind of discounted, so I decided to go for a bluff. Okay, isolate that fish. Okay, we get a bunch of callers. 6, 7, 8. I guess I just went with the fact that it's a rainbow board and we can double barrel if there's a diamond or a club, but it's 3-way, so I realized a mistake here. Anyways, we turn ace. Should be betting here probably. Not the best card, so I just decided to call. Isolate for sure with this card. The fuck? Oh, yeah, that's fine. I didn't realize we also had the 10 here. Okay, probably not the right line, right? Kind of wide. Small C bet into 2 people. I think we should just check back. Decided to call his raise, even though it's pretty strong. What? Oh, I just called off his jam. Yeah, so I know in theory this is completely wrong, but again you see the range that he shows up with. Like, I have no idea what made him play it like this, but I have a question here. Like, you can see how much our villain is deviating from like what he's playing. Basically, a made hand that's just a pair. They're going to just bomb, bomb, bomb kind of thing. A flush draw. There are two types of players. They might play a bit aggro, or most of them are playing. And this is just a fish I'm talking about, which is most of the players. They might play like trappy bomby, like like I said, and then we have people who will just show up with this. So bluffs, they will just go for it. Bluffs, they will not. So bluff is like this guy just wants to win this hand, knows that deuce for 10 doesn't hit my range, uh, and that's all he's thinking about. It doesn't hit my range, so he's gonna go for it. I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't. Well, it went all in on the turn, right? Yeah. I'm never folding here to his jam. I don't know. Don't laugh. Okay, I saw here get called. So here, this is the kind of spot where, again, versus like a weak player, I'm just stacking off. Ace on the turn wasn't the best card, but put in a small bet, he folds. So here, like, we're defending basically every pocket pair versus like 100 big blind or more than 100 big blinds. 2500 is 100 big blinds, so like 180 big blinds, whatever. Calling here. Should we be betting here? And I mean, 6 high flush draw. So I decided to call that small bet. Sucks. Should probably be raising this. I don't know. You tell me. Just pushing our equity with an ace high flop. Wait, hold up. Okay, that's that. Let's do this one. Okay. I don't know why I'm on a 10 NL table. Oh yeah, this is probably the first session after coaching with you, and after like looking up some videos and stuff. I think it's fine to call there, and I think I should fold here. And here I decide to just put him in, blocking the flush draw. The board blocks like Jack 10. Oh, sorry. Jack 8, we block. King Jack is the only hand. And let's just see. And I don't think he's limping King Jack here. Or betting there on the flop. Just makes no sense. So just because we could be like behind a 9, a 7, a 10, sorry, I decided to like overbet and just put him in basically. And I wouldn't even mind a call, because sometimes he'll just call with the 7. What? Oh, now it's going to backwards. Should we be calling this? Yeah, probably not, because of 2 aces. Like, our straight isn't the best in the world. Maybe raise, he calls. Like, I know this guy is kind of like bad. Like, he's an MTT player. Which is not the logic that we use. It's just that he thinks if I call the flop and then lead the turn, that basically I have it, or have something. Oh, this is going backwards. No, this is a different hand. No, it's not. Twice. Small bet, or not small bet, but big bet, but kings and jacks, yeah, I think this is fine. I hope. Again, in ISO. So again, like, this is basically what I struggle with is, like, after opening, like, what kind of equity are we betting, bet sizing, stuff like that. Given that our opponents are kind of just calling with like any 2 good looking cards. Probably a mistake here. Wow, Jesus. So basically fit or fold poker. Every time I've tried to bluff, it's not worked. Except for like when we bluff with like a pretty huge amount. It's still a bit cleaner than earlier, right? So when it gets check, 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 I think a small river bet was in order. I think this is too wide. 30 big blinds. Jam. Damn, I mean. Fine. Let me just don't hit. I think this is a call versus this guy, but probably not in theory. It's a fold. Like, we're playing the same people again and again and again and again. Okay, so yeah, I decided to fold the threes after the ISO and a three. Raise it in 3-bet. Give him the walk. Yep. Right. Versus good players, I'd probably ice squeeze here, but not versus these. What happened here? I made a 30, made a 90, I folded. Call probably? I don't know. You tell me. Like I said, that hustler guy is gonna play a lot like an MTT. ISO, fold. Open, flop, the flush draw, bet big, fold. Flop the flush draw again. Just call. And we miss. You tell me. So my C bet's been pretty low. Here again, I'm attacking this guy because he's. I just know his game from MTTs, and he's just applying that game here, and it's a suited king. So I thought I'd just put some pressure. He folded a 7. He folded a7 suited. He showed it to me. Huh? Okay, so a 3-bet. I'm sorry, an open, a 3-bet, 7s, probably a call. We are like 100, we are 10 NL, so we are 100 big blinds here. Wait, what happened to my stack? What the fuck? Okay. What's happening, man? Decided to just call. I don't know which line to take here, whether to c-bet, flop, or turn. Okay. I'm just felting this guy now. And the reason for the big sizing is we either check here to make like deuces, 4s, 5s and stuff seem like they're strong, or we bet big, which also looks bluffy to them. So like it just says villain dependent. Here I had this guy on a note that if he has anything, doesn't matter. He's like size in elastic, sizing in elastic, and he'll just call off if he thinks it's a good hand. So it's just like a bit read dependent. Look at this one. Surprised I checked. I figured he would bet. My bad. Okay, do we do anything here? 9-10 jack. We've got some suits. Or do we just, or we can just win it this way. Bet small, bet big, or not big, but relatively bigger. And he bets. I think I should fold here. But it's fine, right? It's not a big mistake. Wow, okay. Yeah, this is wrong, right? Pot. Do we block the hearts? I guess it's a good, okay call. Aces, don't want any bites. Decided to open loose here. Got punished. Again versus this guy, I'm gonna just pile it in. Even if we 3-bet big, they're gonna peel. Sure, I guess. I think it's fine. We unlock diamonds, but and like this is how he would play a draw. Like they bet small. If he had a jack here, he's bombing this at 100 at least. Straight draw 2 though, so it's a bit of a risky road. I know you told me not to do this. Again, it's just the first or second session, and you can just see how the villains play. So I know it costs us rake, but just look at these ranges. So I guess your answer would be raise, but the thing is 6-7 is never folding to any raise. That's the problem. 5-10 suited is not folding to any raise. So spewy, spazzy players that you see in the first level of MTTs here. Yeah. Can't really improve much. We could have isolated there with the A7, I guess. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay, last video or last replay. Here we had a couple of decent players. Forget about this stuff. Like I'm just like settling up on tables. Ended up like just opening this hand and then jacking it down. Okay. Call here. Fold is fine too. Like I've seen the nittier that I am, the better I do. But the balance is something I've not been able to figure it out. Just so you know, this guy is a regular and apparently way good. He's not, and this guy is a regular. This guy is a fish. They're both bad players. I think a bit too much. But anyways, he calls. Think I should give him the rope to hang. We don't really have any danger cards here. Like couple of danger cards give us equity actually. So I decided to jam. He folded. Probably the wrong suits to jam there. Yeah. So here we're gonna ISO and you're gonna see these two players limping and folding a lot, but my ISO range is not too expanded. It's like ace 8 offsuit, ace 7 offsuit is the worst in terms of aces, ace X, and then just a normal ISO Broadway stuff. Sometimes pairs, mixing it up. This guy's a bit of a spaz, like 19% 3-bet. Yep, fold right. I don't even know if we should open this. So ranges and C betting is really something that I'm struggling with. And some river bets because it looks like a tiny pot, but if you think about it, it's a pot size bet. Not sure about this, but I'm not continuing. Again, I think this is a fine fold. I just want to see what he had. Can't see. Okay, so this was the mistake that I made. I was playing a 50 NL table, which broke in like 3 hands because I first hand fold, second hand double up, third hand triple up, like basically the other guy. So there was 3 players. Second hand I stacked off someone with aces. Second hand I stacked off someone with kings, and it finished. I was playing stacked tables also, so here I thought it was 50 NL, so I made it 6x. So I think this guy's limp 6x call range is not interacting with this board. I think 9s he's jamming, and I think it's mostly broadways. And yes, we unblock hearts, but I bet here because just in general his range is not interacting with this board at all. He calls because he thinks my range isn't interacting with this board. We pick up a gutter ball, and I think if he had a flush draw, I think he piles it in on the flop. So with the equity picked up, I just jammed. Just like this is how I play versus fish, like kind of very exploitatively, like kind of deviating from theory or equilibrium. This is a mistake. Again, it's a stack table. It was an ace king in another hand. Oh, sorry, nines in another hand. Or something like that. Some good hand. So I didn't mean to do this. Okay. So versus this guy, I'm not going to see bet. Because any piece that he has, he's just gonna pile it in. He's just bought in for this much amount just to play. You know, so maybe there's an argument to see bet with the diamonds, but again, the problem being his range is so wide that like bottom pair is getting in. It's a bit of an eye test, but it's a lot of times it's the same players, so the eye test is somewhat valid. Okay, pick up a open ender, c bet. So again, like what should we be c betting here and stuff like that. Here with a pot size bet left, I think the only way we can exercise or realize our equity is to jam, because if you make it like 300, he's just gonna jam over on top of us, and he played it kind of passively, so decided to jam. Yeah, this is a fine fold, right? Again, you can see these two limp. I isolate them, they fold. But again, I'm not gonna isolate them with like 2-7, queen 5 suited. I think bottom of my range. And versus this kind of villain with queen 5. So my average all-in equity with top pair is 84%. So you can just tell how wide these guys are stacking off. So I want to stack off here versus this guy. I think I made a sizing error here. I think it should be a little bit bigger, because anything he's got on this flop he's gonna continue with. And then with 2x pot size bet left, I just jammed, we called, and we had him. So you can just again see, like, it's pretty insane. Okay, yeah, he jammed. Yeah. So I think we just call here. We don't like min raise, right? Again, he kind of, okay, whatever. Here I made a mistake of betting too big, when my strategy versus fish is to bet small when I don't get anything. The reason was the two suits and the fact that this is like just you know, like I have the stronger range, but again in cash it's worse than MTTs. Like they're just gonna call or do something with anything that they pick up on. An ace, if he has an ace here, he's just gonna do this exactly. Or a bluff with like a pair, 10 jack sometimes. Like, so with thin equity or a bluff, they will be betting big with a made hand that's top pair plus or top two pair trips sets and straights or whatever. They're gonna be playing. There's a threshold, like two pair he's gonna play fast. Bluff he's gonna play aggro with um, uh, then there's a spot where if he has a straight he's gonna play passive, and flush also passive bomb type stuff. So here I just thought, given the fact that we saw him with Jack 10 offsuit, that this might be a call. This is the guy who jammed Jack 10 when we had the ace queen and he hit the ace on the river for the straight. Kind of like an MTD kind of thing. Again, I'm not isolating with these junk hands though, even though I'm pretty sure they would fold. Kind of bad. So yeah, I think this sizing deployed versus these guys is better because we lose the minimum. Isolate and just give up after the c-bet. Yep. Fold, right? Yep. Especially when he makes it min raise. Bottom of our range versus two decent like regulars. I think this is an open. Versus a fish, I would c-bet. Versus a regular kind of player, mediocre, I decided check, try to make my range look weaker. I think I made a mistake here with the c-bet, maybe like 70 or something like that, because literally here he can only call with a jack, which sucks for us. You tell me though. Yeah, so this is part of that like nines, ace king hand. There was a nines and the ace king hand that like I was pressed for time. You'll see two sizings. So this was a timeout. So remember this player, Sanjay, this one, who did this. So when anyone bets aggro, I'm just get the fuck out of there unless I have something. Okay, again, I made a mistake of thinking this is 50 NL, made it 6x. His limp call with 6x, again, I don't think interacts with this board again, because yes, sure, it may, because it's now we're like 100 big blinds deep, but nines is the only hand, like nines and eights, definitely not fives. Ace 5 suited probably, and we block one of those combos. And when he checks here, I think he doesn't have the hard combo for that either, and I don't think he has flush in general. Not flush, because if you look at the action, he limped. This time he called. I think this is like smells like queen 10. Well, queen 10 he would maybe somewhat put in a bet or something. It's hard to predict, like sometimes what they do with like semi bluffs and stuff. But I would expect a lot of like just junky hands like king jack, king queen, sixes, stuff like that. He checks, and I at this one I don't think he has a flush. He bets small, which is kind of a flush sizing, but I decided to call with like 6 outs, and the fact that we might actually be, given the jack, we might actually be like good here with him, you know, us blocking him from like jack 10, jack 9, jack 8. Then we hit the jack, and I would call anything up to pot here. Here deuces. Okay, so we have to remember he raised. He limps a lot. He raised, so I don't think he has anything that's like small, like suited hand suited connectors or suited connectors in general. I think he has a big hand here. So I'm discounting him from having like not diamonds, but like he can have ace king of diamonds, but I'm discounting him from having like other diamonds. So I continue calling instead of raising and stuff. Although in hindsight you'll see that if I had raised, he probably gets it in. Pretty bad card, but I'm gonna here. This is what made me definitely realize that he's repping an ace and nothing else. So like, even if he has a pair, he doesn't have a straight, doesn't have that many combos. There's just no combos of deuce 4 or 4-7 that he can have here. In my opinion, he has a set on the flop, ace king, ace queen, sure, with diamonds as well, and kings. Sometimes they'll protect their hand like this, so I kept calling. Pretty shit card, but again, I don't think he has enough. So the only thing we're worried about is diamonds here. We've got pot size bet left, and I think if he has diamonds here with this bet sizing, he must have also an ace. Otherwise, he's betting small on a draw. So yeah, yes, he can have diamonds, but I don't think he can ever have a straight here, like ever. Pair or deuces. It's the only thing. And pair of sevens, but again, the way he played it, I don't think he has deuces or sevens. Deuces, yes, sevens don't. And then we have his flush draw. So he jams, I call. Yeah, so when he raises like that, he's just repping like what he thinks is a really good hand, and not like this is fine. Fine. So you just remember, this guy is just like jamming a lot with this stack size. Pretty easy fold, right? Versus like a half decent player. This guy raises 3 bets, got king queen suited. Or would you see the flop here? I think it's a fold, right? I would see the flop before we did the session last time. Okay, ace king, we raised, it folds. Here I made a slight deviation again. Again, it's because this happens pretty less, that raise, and when we hit, we get paid off almost every time. Although that's pretty weak logic. But like you can just see my win rate is 82 now. Folded here, 2's 5 on the button, folded here. I think this is a decent hand too. I think we can even make it bigger because it's actually a pretty good hand. On this kind of dry board versus his stack size, I'm gonna keep the bet sizing low because I want to induce raises. I don't think he can have anything here, because if he has a flush draw, we're gonna find out right now. He doesn't. So now we have trip tens. If he had pocket threes, pocket deuces, pocket anything, it's going in pre-flop, and I would probably call. And I just don't think he has anything. I think if anything, he can have like a worse 10, and that's about it. So again, I bet small, trying to induce, and I think this raise is nothing but him trying to exploit the fact that I'm betting small. So I just call. The flush comes in. If he had a flush here, I think this goes in. I think he piles it all in. So I decided to just jam. So here, given that he's almost like 12 big blind, whatever, like I decided to play trappy. This time he did not bet or jam, and we got ourselves in a jam. So but look at like what he jams on the flop. Oh my god, man. And he gets there too. And I think if this is suited, if it's 5-7 suited, we do get our wish where he does jam this guy De Gea. He'll probably call, or even if he jams, we're gonna call it off, I think, with the dead money. Here versus this good player, I would prefer like 4-10-9. I made it small. I made a mistake here. I think I should go big versus a decent player. He can make an exploitative raise here. So should we be defending this with like backdoor outs, or should we not? Yeah, again, I think we can make it bigger because we have such a good hand. Basically, again, same strategy versus bad players. I'm trying to pump up the pot pre-flop. I think this is fine. Calling one bet and just checking it down. So you can see like just no rhyme or reason to their play. Yeah, this is more of what I should be betting with the good hand versus bad players, because they're literally married to their hand. Yeah, this is when the ace king and stuff was happening. So I literally clicked the button, which is 2.9x. And that's it. And I just wanted to show you one last hand that happened yesterday. I went after this guy to like show me his hand history. Vindicated. This was a tournament, by the way. This is supposed to be a deep stack turbo. You can see the biggest stack is us at 16 big blinds. I finished 4th or 5th. And one more hand. And I think, I don't know, maybe you might think that's too nitty, but I think I made the right decision here. I think the street.
What was featured in Tomb Raider 2.
Whoa.
But again, they were.
Hold up. So, so this is like the semi-decent player. He raises to 2 big blinds. I think we should just fold it here, right? With Jack deuce offsuit. Blind versus blind. Anyways, we flop 10, 7 deuce. He makes it half pot. I think we should fold here. Anyways, turn, it brings a deuce. He bets half pot again. I call. The river is an ace. He bets 1 big blind. I raise it to pot, and he raises it to 70, and I snap folded. I think that's fine, right? And just this could be results oriented. He had set of 7s. So yeah.